doing it. They were already doing it overseas, and so now it has hit the States, and that is people getting microchips there. But here is the propaganda to make people want it. Look, he's so convenient. He doesn't have to hunt for his keys. He doesn't have to hunt for his stuff. Isn't that convenient? How wonderful. This man doesn't need any keys because he's got a chip. He has been chipped. Look at all this wonderful electrical stuff. I don't know. I grew up in a world where the power would go down, but also it's the fact that you're tracked. You know, then it'll start being there's no cash. I mean, they're already trying to discourage us from using cash and penalizing people who try to use cash. So this is the propaganda move has begun, and of course they're appealing to people's convenience sense because we have become such a spoiled society. We would rather reach for convenience than we would, you know, for common sense and think of our freedom. And the cost of that convenience is on future generations. And people just are not getting outraged enough on this when they should. You need to get outraged. You need to actually start saying no. And by the way, one way to say no is to find out what this company is, which, I mean, they're a tech company, but you know, that means they produce stuff. Find a way to boycott and let it be known you're going to boycott because, oh, damn this shit, people, stand up for your freedom. What is wrong with all of you? Stand up for your freedom. And you young generation people who like, well, I never, you know, I actually had someone tell me, well, I never knew these freedoms you're speaking of, and so I don't really feel like I should have to worry about preserving them. You know, that's selfish, and just because you didn't know the same kind of freedoms I knew growing up doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't have a right to them. They have a human right to them. Fight for your freedoms because, you know, in about 25 years, if you don't, you're going to realize what a mistake it was not to stand up for it when you still could.
You want to see a bunch of people jump in the Galactic Council, or as I have been calling it since before. Oh gosh. Anyway, you know, I think I'm the first person to actually call it the Fishbowl. I started calling it the Fishbowl, and people from the Fishbowl actually lectured me about calling it the Fishbowl, which of course made me call it the Fishbowl more, and now I notice that a lot of people are calling it the Fishbowl, and I find that really hilarious. So let me re-educate why it's called the Fishbowl. It's called the Fishbowl because when I first became aware of its actual existence as opposed to it being a dream, it was when I was going through the thing that a lot of any official that serves a certain capacity there must go through, which is basically, it's not, you know, they make it out like this black and white trial of your life. This is your life, and we have to decide whether to convict you or not. But it's not like that at all. It's actually going through your entire thing, and it not only decides your worth, but helps decide where you're going to be, and even predicts what kind of, I don't know, ruler, influence you would be. It's a very important part of the process, and you cannot take your seat without it. And it can be very painful. And some people actually don't even make it past that and break. That's how I coined the term the fishbowl, and why. Because I was standing on the sands and literally was surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of eyes, and I felt like one of those fish in a little teeny weeny bowl that the cats attack in the photos, and you tap on the glass, and that's how I felt. I felt like a fish in a bowl, and that is why it is called the fishbowl. And yeah, and you know, as I said, it was met with the term was met with a lot of resistance, and I've noticed now that people that haven't even met me that are affiliated with the fishbowl, i.e. the Council on High, have begun calling it the fishbowl. So I think the name stuck. Yeah. So you want to see a bunch of officials there jump. Go up there when they're all busy and doing their paperwork. I mean, right about now for me is their busiest time. I don't know why that is at this time of year, because it really depends. So they all got their heads down, they're all doing their thing, and they're running around, they're running messages and everything, and then just get up there and get up and grab the communication lines and spread your wings and do basically the metaphysical equivalent of the loudest loudspeaker you can, and you shout, "He did what?" We are talking some major jumps. He did what? And there are some some of you, they're going to know what I was referencing, and I'm going to leave it at that. I went up there and I said, he did what? And I said, it's going to be fixed now. And I'm going to leave it at that. And we're, because, yeah, well, I don't want to ruin the surprise. He did what? That isn't really what I'm here to talk to you about. It's just something that caught my attention right as I was getting ready to record. First, I'm going to start with this book. Actually, further than what I'm going to cover. But there's something here that I felt needed to be said, and it felt really good to see it being said by someone else besides me. I'm not even very far in, and I'm already like, yeah, baby, yeah. Oh, preach it. He's basically talking about the influences of things on the abduction phenomenon. He'll cover like hypnosis stuff and a background, and he basically gives you a groundwork, so you don't always need to read his other books or someone else's other books to catch up, although it helps. And he says the concept of receiving a message from aliens was used by the infamous contactees of the 1950s who claimed they had met aliens, been taken on trips to Venus and other planets, and been given messages. Often, and here's what's interesting, about the evils of communism, the atomic bomb, and other current issues of the time. Stop. Because what are the messages we get now? The evils of corporate, living, the nuclear bomb, and other current issues of our time. The message is still part of flying saucer lore, but it has never been a legitimate aspect of abduction phenomena. When one learns about abductions, the illogicality of such messages becomes evident. And what he's saying here is when you learn more than past the channel messages and the things that you're told, you start to realize, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. 2 + 2 is not adding up. Here's another thing that completely backs up what I've been saying as far as his research goes. If we took all the world's scientists and academics who are not UFO and or alien abduction researchers or abductees and combined all their knowledge about extraterrestrial life, and these are all the people that say this, if they were coming, why haven't they? The total amount would be 0. As of this writing, this is an irrefutable statement. We must deal with the facts at hand and not say that aliens would, could, or should behave in a manner we think is proper. In other words, don't humanize the aliens. I think I just covered this like one of my last videos or before that. So that's just something that I found really interesting as a note and recommendation on this book so far. In other words, so far I can say as an editorial review note, so far so good. I won't keep doing that because, of course, I don't want to plagiarize his book. I sincerely want people to pick this book up and read it for themselves. If you can't afford the book, libraries still work. You can still go and borrow the book for free and read it within a certain space of time and return it. Do it legally. You can do this. I recommend this book so far. I haven't changed my mind yet. I'm still working on it. I had to stop just so I wouldn't lose this part, and I will carry on now. So I'm going to tell you a story, and it's a demonstration story, and it has to do with this toy. Let me put him back together so that you can see him. This is a toy from Dora the Explorer from many years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. They had found a dinosaur egg or something. I don't know. I haven't seen the episode. And I think I told this story before, but I couldn't find it. I've been reviewing and I couldn't find it. So I don't think I've told this story. But this is my little psychic dinosaur. And that's the way I think of this little guy. She is my psychic dinosaur. I was taking a nap, and in the dream that I was having, I was in a toy store parking lot. I think it might have been Toys R Us. I don't know, but it was a particular parking lot. It started off, I was in someplace like Arizona, but it ended up in a parking lot in Arizona. And I had been given an egg. And it was an egg about this size, this color, without a hole in it. And it hatched in my hand, so I'm holding it like this. And it hatched. And out came this little dinosaur. I was really stressed out in the dream. I was really stressed out because I knew the dinosaur was hungry and it needed to eat right away and it was going to die of starvation. And I couldn't find any food for this dinosaur. And I was really, really, really stressed out trying to figure out what to do. And I'm standing in a parking lot at about that point in the dream, and my husband is there, and I'm just like really worried about feeding this infant dinosaur. It was like a few minutes old. And my husband woke me up from my nap. I started to cry because he killed my dinosaur. My dinosaur was now going to starve to death because I couldn't feed it because I had got woke up out of my nap. But we went to Toys R Us that day because I like to collect Barbie dresses. I like to remake Barbies as a hobby. So we went there to cheer me up. I wasn't even to the back of the store. It was like right there by the cash registers. There's this door, the Explorer display, and in one of the toys was my dinosaur. Exactly same color, same breed. It was my dinosaur. So I had actually somehow psychically picked up on this dinosaur. I don't watch Dora the Explorer. I don't know anything about the show, actually. I have never. The only thing I know is that the girl that did the voice had to sue for money somehow. That's the only thing I know about the show. But I knew about this episode somehow psychically, and I had picked up on it, and I had seen and found this dinosaur in one of the packs. So I bought my psychic dinosaur, and it has never starved. I have taken good care of it. I have had it all these years. It sits on a shelf, and I take it down once in a while because it is my physical reminder that yes, these powers yes do exist. Yes, you can manifest them, and incidentally, yes, they do not manifest always in the way the movies expect us to. You gotta admit that's a kind of an odd way to pick up that I was gonna find this toy. But this toy is my reminder not to doubt myself. And so I hope that knowing about my little psychic dinosaur will help you. So that's what I wanted to tell you today as a little thing for everyone. And I think that's it. I just wanted to tell you about my little psychic dinosaur. My little psychic dinosaur. And he did what? I mean, seriously. He did what? He did what? What this person is planning to, you don't do ever. And if they are doing this, it is a testament that they are lying. There are some of you that are going to find out what I'm talking about, and you're going to understand. And unfortunately, because of the limitations, that means that shows that he's lying, I am unable to go any further. You guys will have to figure it out. But he did what? He sure